we can't stop the run. We're not good enough to compete. We've just put our head down and worked hard.
That's right.
All right, Brew. Did Buffalo prove all the doubters wrong?
Before Brew goes, can we tell the audience something?
Yeah, we don't know. Is this?
This is 100%. I know it for a fact.
Okay.
When Josh, we heard all the doubters, about 15 minutes before kickoff, you know who they played in that stadium analyzing this game? Chris Broussard on the Jumbotron with audio, and I was told was lustily booed by the full 75,000. So I don't think it's stretched to say he was specifically talking to you, Chris Broussard.
Bills Mafia, you can thank me later.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, I got them going,
It's like the Bud list.
Clearly. Actually, right. That's better than the Bud list. Yeah, they did. They proved it. Now, look, I'm not taking anything from the Bills because it's win in advance. I don't care how you do it. I do think Baltimore outplayed them. They made 2, 3, 4 horrible plays. Outside of that, they outgained them by over 100 yards. You know, every category they had more. But the key is to win, and they stayed poised. And I've been calling them a one-man show, one of the greatest we've seen. I still stick by that. They're one of the
offensive
greatest
line's
we've seen.
awesome.
But right, and I'm gonna stop saying that they're a one-man show. I'm gonna get James Cook. Look, he's not Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, but he's legit. Right. And like you said, the offensive line is great. The defense now getting healthier. Milano back. Milano, made a bunch of plays yesterday. So now they're healthier. So the defense is better. They were smaller yesterday. I talked a lot about them being small going up against the Ravens, but even though they were outrushed and all of that stuff, for the most part, they held their own. So, look, I thought they were a playoff team, but I did not think for most of the season they were a contender. At some point, I said, you know what, they're a contender. I'd expect them to be in the Final Four. So, yeah, I give them major credit for
Well,
that.
I'm glad nobody looked back at what I said because I didn't think they were even going to be a playoff team. And I was obviously wrong. And when I looked at it before the season, I felt like they had just lost too much in terms of receivers in the offseason. I thought that was a real issue. Felt that this was a reset year from a salary cap perspective. They were trying to get right. And look, I didn't anticipate that Josh, who over the last 3 years has thrown 15 picks a year, would suddenly only throw 6. Josh, who's been sacked on average 27 times a year, would only be sacked 14 times. I didn't see him having that type of progress, and I think that progress that he's made is the biggest reason they're where they are. There's no bigger reason than his ability to control his mistakes that's propelled them forward like they have. Do I think they've silenced all their doubters? I think they've silenced a lot of doubters, but until they can go to Kansas City and slay the dragon, then it's just, again, they're a nice story, and they'll be remembered as this will be a nice time in Buffalo history, but it'll still just be the Kansas City Chiefs.
So I want to double down on giving Josh credit because he really is fighting against who he is to be this type of player. And you saw it on the play the last time he touched the ball in a meaningful spot. The third and goal, it's 3rd and goal from the 3, up 5. And the same devil on his shoulder that in his first ever playoff game, running down the field in the 4th quarter, he just blindly threw it over the back of his head. The same devil on his shoulder that in the first play or the first drive of the divisional round game against the Chiefs last year was like lateraling it across the field, was like, maybe I should pitch it. And didn't. Now, I don't know if it's because his arm.
I was going to say, I think he was going to pitch
I don't
it
know.
if that Raven
That would have been the most crushing way to lose, because that could be scoop score the other way. And so it's one thing to stop being something because you're like, I don't want to be it anymore. It's another thing to, I think he still wants to be that guy, but is like white knuckling it like, no, it's not the best way for this team to win. So I will sacrifice the way I think he is wired to play football. And by the way, it's going to be really, really hard for him to keep that same discipline next week.
You think so?
Yes, because now you're in Arrowhead. In that stadium, he had the greatest game of his career. I think it'll be hard. But
both quarterbacks have taken it down, though.
It's
not light show Mahomes anymore.
I understand. But last year in the playoffs, if you remember, he played against the Chiefs. He played this style. He had no plays of more than 14 yards. It was
he played well.
He played well, but they lost. And so I have thought all year long Buffalo's second best team in the league. I still think it. I think next week is the Super Bowl. I think the winner of that game is winning the Super Bowl, and you will hear a different tone from me this week about the Bills game than I did the Texans game. Practice is over for the Chiefs. The real season begins, and they're not undefeated in the AFC Championship games. They've lost them, and they've lost them at home. This is the hardest game they have, and we'll see if they were holding something in reserve in the regular season like I think they were, or if Buffalo's a bad matchup.
We got some revisionist history. Nick Wright trying to act like he's been this big Buffalo Bills believer. Let's take a look. Here we are. Week 1. These are the tiers. Remember how he keeps saying that I'm the Bills guy, I'm the Bills guy, I'm the only one that accurately believed in the Bills? He has them on the same level as the Falcons, the Jaguars, and the Dallas Cowboys. He actually has the Dallas Cowboys ahead of the Bills. We all know it's left to right. We all know that. He has the 49ers above them, the Baltimore Ravens above them, the Chicago Bears above them, the Rams, the Bengals, the Texans, the Lions, and the Chiefs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 teams ahead of him. But now he's saying that all year long, he's had them as the second best team? Huh? Since when? That's not what the record shows. Yeah, come on. No. We gotta be honest, man. We gotta be honest. Lots of people were doubting what the Buffalo Bills were going to be able to achieve. I had my questions about the Buffalo Bills. You guys all know I'm a big believer in Josh Allen. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's definitely the best quarterback in the NFL. It's not even just a thought, it's just a reality. I know. I have no idea how this game is going to look moving forward. I don't think they proved all the doubters wrong. I don't know if they proved any doubters wrong, because it is. It is about beating the Kansas City Chiefs. It's about getting to the Super Bowl. Heck, even winning the Super Bowl. Because even if he just gets to the Super Bowl and they lose, people will still say, same old Bills. Josh Allen's not good. You know, it'll still be Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. So I think beating the Kansas City Chiefs at a minimum is what they obviously need to do, or just getting to the Super Bowl, whether it was through the Chiefs or not, but just getting to the Super Bowl is huge. But yeah, you know, when Josh Allen did want to give that ball up, when he was held up, this is what I just, you know, immediately thought of.
No.
That's just where my mind went, you know, immediately. It was like, no. What are you doing? What is that? I mean, and you could see it. His eyes were wide. He was like trying to do it. It's like, the thing is, if he pulled it off, everybody would have just said, oh my goodness, what a legend. But I mean, you're talking about snow, it's slippery. I mean, like, man, that game was not the game in terms of like how it went about and how it unfolded, is not at all what I was expecting. You know, I mean, there was really no fireworks for Josh Allen, for Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Stafford. Really, Stafford's a little tough because he's such a pure pocket passer that his fireworks are, you know, really dependent on these big special throws. And it was a, you know, snow game. Jared Goff, not great. Lamar Jackson had some really nice moments for sure, but even some of his plays weren't fireworks. Like a couple of his really nice throws, he had like 45 minutes in the pocket. I mean, the dude could have like taken a seat, you know, inspected the football. So it was like, it wasn't like a feeling of like Superman heroics. Lamar had a chance, but then he fumbled. Like that would have been one of those moments maybe where if he now ripped off a 15, 20 yard run, you would have said, oh, wow, you know, that was a big time play. And it just, it didn't happen. So really none of the Superman quarterbacks were really able to be Supermen, and yet they all won. Their superpowers were not making the mistakes. And you look at all the other quarterbacks who made mistakes, they lost. That's what it all came down to. They lost. And so that's why this game is going to be so fascinating. So fascinating. The defense that the Buffalo Bills will be facing should be harder than the Baltimore Ravens. And the offense, I don't want to say that it's going to be easier, because I don't think it will, because you're going to get way more consistent of a game and play calling and game planning from Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense as a whole. So, and if Mark Andrews was open, we know Travis Kelce is going to be open. And if we know they messed up play calling and were kind of weird, the Ravens, we know that's not going to be the case for the Kansas City Chiefs. We know Lamar Jackson made some mistakes. We know Patrick Mahomes isn't going to make some mistakes. So, that's what's going to be so fascinating, is how does this game unfold? Who is actually the better team? Can you honestly answer that question if you're a Buffalo Bills fan or a Chiefs fan? Not who's going to win this game. Who do you think actually has the better team? Including coaching as well. Including coaching. When we go player for player, coach for coach, who's actually better? Who has the better roster? Who has the better team? Again, not who's going to win. And it's interesting. I don't know if there is a clear-cut answer for that. I really don't. And so, yeah, I don't know what the weather is going to be like. I don't know if it's supposed to be super cold. There's supposed to be snow, wind, or anything like that. That's always a variable. It was a variable in the Baltimore Ravens Bills game. It was a variable, obviously, in the Eagles Rams game. It matters. It really, really does. Especially these days, man. Field goal kickers are missing kicks left and right now. Everyone's slipping and sliding, dropping balls. I mean, it's, I haven't looked at the weather yet for that game, so I just don't know. Maybe it'll be an influence. Maybe it won't be. But yeah, I mean, this is the game that majority of people want. The vast majority, and also just the more general casual fans, it's this is what they're looking for. Chiefs, Bills, AFC Championship game, all on the line. There's the feeling that the winner of that game goes on to win the Super Bowl. That's why even Nick said here, this is the hardest game, because he's discounting the Commanders or the Eagles. So this is what it all comes down to, man. This is what it all comes down to. And it does feel, you have the momentum, you have the belief, you have the confidence. It's going to come down to the little things. Do you execute properly? Do you step up when the moment needs you to step up? Do you make that mistake? Do you turn the ball over? Do you scoop up that fumble and run it for a touchdown rather than getting stopped at the 20? When it's first and goal at the 5, do you get into the end zone? Or are you forced to kick a field goal or go for it on 4th and 2 and then get stopped? It's going to be these narrow, teeny tiny things. It's going to be anxiety inducing. It's going to be so stressful. This whole game is honestly going to feel like the final 30 seconds of a game. That's the way how I'm going to watch it. That's the way how I'm going to feel. This whole game is going to be the final 30 seconds. And it's I don't know. I don't even know. If I didn't make videos and I didn't have to watch this live, I would probably just record this, because I wouldn't be able to handle it. I need to just keep going through it. And any of the downtime, halftime, I need to just get through it, because watching this live is just going to be brutal, and it's going to be brutal. At what point in the game could anyone feel comfortable? Except for when it's just zeros on the clock and you see that there's no flags anywhere. It's just, I'm getting anxiety just thinking about it. I mean, this game is going to be so tense. It's going to be so tense, and everyone knows it. And that is the advantage that the Kansas City Chiefs have because they're at home and they've consistently been in this situation. They know how to win in this situation. It would appear that the Buffalo Bills have finally learned how to start to win in this situation. Will they do it against the Kansas City Chiefs? Nick thinks no. Nick thinks that this is where they'll burst. This is where they will burst. And I am so excited to find out. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Buffalo Bills beating the Baltimore Ravens? Do you think they proved the doubters wrong? And how do you think they will fare against the Kansas City Chiefs? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.